So it was brought to my attention earlier today that Kakao Games, the team behind Black Desert Online, Black Desert Mobile, and more recently Eve and Eve Echoes, went and released their third quarter financial report. According to the information released, Cacao has seen a large increase in net income compared to 2019's third quarter, which is mainly due to the mobile market. Shocker, I know. Guardian Tales was mostly responsible for this. A mobile game I can actually say was quite a bit better than I'd expected it to be when I initially played it. But that is not what's most important, right? You guys are all here for the MMO related info, specifically pertaining to Black Desert Online's prequel, sequel, Crimson Desert, the new upcoming Odin Valhalla cross-platform MMORPG, and Elion. Before we jump into Crimson Desert though, I do want to note that apparently Black Desert Online, interestingly enough, has seen its worst year in a long time, being down 13% this quarter alone and over 19% year over year. That is a substantial decline in revenue, a direct effect of the continued decrease of active players logging in to play the game. So it is with this knowledge in mind that Cacao have announced their intentions to drop a very large reveal for Crimson Desert next month in December 2020. This reveal is both to reassure players that the game is continuing to be actively worked on, and to reassure investors that the game is inching ever closer to release. Currently, they plan on unveiling actual in-game footage of the game in a full game disclosure event. This will provide us all with a much closer, much deeper look at how the game will ultimately end up functioning, how it competes with Black Desert, and hopefully exactly what type of game it is. Players are still speculating whether or not the game is going to be a single-player game or an MMO, how the combat will or won't be an improvement over Black Desert, the exact definitive setting the game takes place in. There's just so much we don't know, and hopefully at least some of that is clarified next month. We don't have an exact date yet, only December 2020, but they'll no doubt announce that ahead of the event. Now concerning Elion, it was revealed recently that the upcoming MMO will be launching within South Korea next month in December 2020. Taking a look at the report, however, Cacao goes on to list North America and Europe market launches, successful experience with Black Desert 2021. That is all but a 100% confirmation that anytime in the second quarter, April, May, or June 2021, we'll see Elion launch in both North America and Europe. I know Elion has changed quite drastically over the last couple years of development, but after what seems like an eternity, we're going to finally be able to play the game. A lot of interest, a lot of hype, excitement for the release has died down, and I can totally understand why that is. Even so, getting definitive release dates for a new MMO to spend some time in is always promising. Then we have the upcoming Odin Valhalla Rising cross-platform MMORPG. This is a game that I'm really curious about. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily as hyped for it as I am for Tower of Fantasy, but Odin is touted as being Black Desert, but built cross-platform. That sounds like it could be very promising, or an absolute train wreck, especially given how Black Desert Mobile ended up turning out. Regardless, the upcoming MMO is scheduled to launch within South Korea in the second quarter of 2021, at a similar time to Elion's global release. They have yet to confirm any specifics pertaining to the global release of Odin, but given how quickly they seem to want to push the games out to their Western audience, I wouldn't expect it to really take all that long. Almost half of Cacao's yearly revenue, interestingly enough, actually comes from their Western audience, which is probably why they're always creating games with that particular audience in mind, and why they've actually had as much success as they've ultimately had. If you weren't already aware, I covered this actually last month, I believe, but Cacao is working together with Exile Games, the developer behind the notoriously pay-to-win MMORPG Archeage, to create a sequel, Archeage 2. The game is still in very, very early stages of development right now, but they plan on making Archeage 2 the next generation MMORPG, with the game being built on Unreal Engine 5 and taking what they learned with both Archeage and Black Desert and applying it to the sequel. But with Archeage's business model and Black Desert's business model, you can bet that Archeage 2 is going to be one hell of a pay-to-win mess. I mean, it might be an amazing game, but it is going to cost a fortune to play competitively in any form. And finally, we had a few more games revealed, announced, or confirmed as well. World Flipper and Moonlight Sculptor, two mobile games, were confirmed to be receiving global releases within the third quarter of 2021, and Soul Artifact, a mobile game, is going to be releasing within South Korea sometime during the fourth quarter 2021. Cacao has a lot on their plate for 2021, a lot to offer players of both the PC and the mobile genres. There is still no real news on DokeV, their upcoming Monster Collector MMORPG, or Plan 8, their FPS, their TPS, but both were definitely listed in the report released, and you can bet there are a surplus of other games that are currently in development. Cacao is continuing to show signs of growth, and it is not looking to slow down anytime in the immediate future. They're becoming an absolute giant in the industry, and I'm glad they're continuing to stick to what got them where they are: MMORPGs. Will any of these ultimately end up worth playing? Will Crimson Desert replace Black Desert now that Black Desert Online is showing continued signs of decline? Will Archeage 2 be as bad as players are assuming it's gonna be? Is Odin Valhalla Rising just another crappy cross-platform MMO, or will it be worth playing like Genshin Impact? Only time will tell. Either way, I'm curious to see where all of these different MMORPGs end up going over the course of 2020 and 2021, and I hope all of you guys are as well. But this is my opinion, my impressions of Cacao's financial report. What do you guys think? Do any of these look like something you might be interested in playing? Let me know down in the comments below and let's talk about it. Anyway guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.